Welcome and thank you for joining our Music for Global Change broadcast with founder and music ambassador Skyler Jett and presenter Tom Bryant and Ryan Shuchuk. And our special guest today is Sylvester Burks. So welcome to Music for Global Change, Sylvester Burks. You are a keyboardist and producer in the San Francisco, Oakland Bay Area. You've worked and toured with numerous award-winning artists including Patti LaBelle, Yolanda Adams and Walter Hawkins, just to name but three. You've worked on music video with A&R Records, which was shown on MTV and presented by Luther Vandross as one of the nominated videos of the year. You were also hired as musical director for Courtney Cox on her wedding to David Arquette, which was a star-studded affair. You've also formed your own group, Sylvester Burks and the Kingdom Business. So welcome to the show. Please tell us more.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be on the show. Thank you so much for having me. And I've been wrapped up in music since I've been a little kid, about 9 years old, and ended up working with some people that I admired, which was Hawkins, which made the song "Oh Happy Day," and it just kind of snowballed from there. So I'm doing everything that I love to do. I went to school to be a court stenographer, but that's too boring. So I took another job where I can use my hands on the piano. So I'm good now.
Yeah, brother. What's those gold albums behind you?
Oh man, it's something. I know this guy that I haven't been blessed to be on a platinum record yet, but I know somebody that sung on a record, and he looks a whole lot like you. As a matter of fact,
Lord.
I got the record and you endorsed it, man. So wow. We got friends like that, man.
That's my pleasure, brother. That's my pleasure, brother. So, Tom, you got a question?
Going back to who you've worked with, have you got any particular highlights at all that you'd like to mention?
Working with a lot of artists, you never know what the temperament is. Some are really mean, some are very arrogant, some are very sweet, and the sweetest one I worked with was actually Patti LaBelle. And I had heard that she likes to feed her crew too. And as you can see, I like to eat. My belly is here. You can see my chin, but you can't see my belly, thank goodness. But I love to eat. So when I found out that she feeds people, I said, I really need to go on the road with her. I really
That was the perks.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But Sylvester, you got to tell that story about when you was playing that funeral and the guy. You got to tell that story. Come on, man.
I try to be sensitive, but I mean, they have this thing where if you go to a white funeral, everybody's reserved and everything, what have you. But you go to a black funeral, I got to go with you. And so, wow, there's this one funeral I went to, and the guy, he must have went in some type of mental state or something. He went back in time or something, and he was actually over the casket telling the guy to get up. You're making us late. Come on, hurry, get up. I'm trying not to laugh. I told one of my friends about that. He happened to come in to the back and I had to almost hog tie him to keep him from making a scene and busting out. So it's a scenario. If they ever made a sitcom, it would be an instant hit. So, and again, not to make fun of what people go through, but it's a lot of subject matter in comedy. So we've seen some funny things.
Yeah. So this guy wanted you to come back, right? The pastor wanted you to come back and move the body.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, I needed work real bad. Music was running kind of slow.
That's right. That's right.
And at that time, you take pretty much any kind of job. So I said, well, maybe I could ask this guy that can I have some work, a little job or something. And he was really smart. So he knew I was an organist, so I could play for the funerals. And then he had me shine in the hearse and things like that. I said, I have no problem with that. Okay. So the guy said, well, Mr. T, we'll call him Mr. T, wants to see you in the office. And I was wondering, oh, wow, did I do something wrong? he's known for talking real slow. Mr. Burks, I heard you. So he started, Mr. Burks.
Yeah.
We want to talk to you about expanding your duties here at the funeral home. I'm thinking he's talking about, additional things, moving some caskets around and something like that. I said, oh, okay, that sounds good. Well, what did you have in mind? Well, Mr. Burks, we want you to go and make body removals with the fellows. Do what?
Oh wow!
Look, I'm not cut out for that. The only body that will be removed is my body from this job. I quit.
That's right. Talk to you later.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Ryan, you got a question?
I mean, playing a soundtrack during the body removal could be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So you essentially got your starting gigs in church at 12, but I'm curious to know, like, what prompted you to start playing piano? Did you have a musical family, or how did?
Yes, precisely. I had an aunt that she was very proactive with us. We loved Aunt Faye, and she would pick me, my brother, my sister up, and take us to her house for weekends and stuff like that. So she was a piano teacher, and she would have students, and I would kind of peek around the door, and I could hear everything that the piano player was playing, but she was reading music. And this is how I discovered I had a gift. I couldn't wait for her to leave, and when she left, I'd be able to play everything she played by ear just from listening to what she was playing. Yeah, it grew from there. Yeah,
it's a different sound, like people that's born to do it than people, take lessons for it, right?
That's right. That's right.
Wow, by ear.
Was there another question you had?
So I do have a question. I grew up on stand-up comedy. I'm a huge stand-up comedy fan, and I read that you had a pretty funny interaction with the late great Bernie Mac in Chicago. Can you talk about that a little bit?
If there are any comedians listening, you should take notes from this. Okay. Yeah. So I came in, I was in Chicago. I actually was on tour, but I said, let me just go to Chicago. I was in Cleveland. So I took a flight to Chicago just to hang out and check out the scene. So I heard so much about the Cotton Club on Michigan Avenue. So I went to the Cotton Club and I walked in, and I didn't know what the dress attire was. I had the suit and tie on, just like I was going to church or something. Yeah. And everybody else was casual. So I go in, and you know how comedians are. They'll get the last person that walked in the door.
Yeah.
So the people in the audience, they must have knew something. They knew he was about to get me. He said, hey, my brother, how you doing? Hey, brother deacon. He called me a deacon or reverend or something. Yeah. And he said, well, what you doing in here, reverend? I said, well, I'm just here checking out, I'm between tours, and I'm just checking out the show. He said, oh, you're on tour? Oh. He said, well, who do you play with? And I told him who I was on tour with. And he said, well, what instrument do you play? I said, well, I'm a keyboard player. And he said, oh, you are? And he said, now, everybody in the audience, let me show you how people can lie. I'm gonna catch them in a lie.
Uh-oh.
He said, now, if you're a piano player, come up on the stage and play this piano right now. They had this white baby grand on the stage. And I said, okay. So I got to the stage, and everybody was just like, they was thinking I'm going to play chopsticks or something corny like that. So I broke out in this introduction that everybody knows from Vandross. From Vandross. A house is not a home where you do the twinkly piano, boom. And as soon as I played a couple bars, that the place just went nuts. And so he was on stage, and everybody turned towards me, away from him. So he couldn't get his crowd back. Just for that, I'm going to play another Luther song.
Just for that.
Oh, you carried on,
yeah. They probably thought Luther was about to come out.
Yeah, exactly. So I got him real good. So he lost his crowd. So I don't know if he'll ever do that again.
Yeah, don't be careful what you ask, right?
That's it.
Wow, that was Bernie Mac. That's amazing. That's a great story.
Tom, give him another one.
Well, okay. What's your latest project? You got anything planned at the moment?
I have something interesting that I'm working on, but if I can add something to the other thing that what happens to me as you grow up into music and you evolve. At this point, I can, and people trip out when they see me do this. I've been playing so long, sometimes I could be somewhere playing and I can go to sleep and fall asleep and still be playing and not miss a note.
Wow. You could play in your sleep. Wow, that's amazing.
The people saw me doing it, they couldn't believe, oh my God, I can't believe this. So I actually hear where I'm at in what do you call that? In your mind. It's like, a whole other place.
Yeah.
So I can do things like that I never thought I'd be able to do. Okay. So
Fantastic.
back to what I'm doing right now. I was approached by this well-known older producer, and he was really big back in the day, working on different record companies, and he really liked the way I played. So he approached me about it. He said he's going to start a new group, and the group is called the Rainforest Band, which was invented by Jerry Garcia of the Grateful Dead. Mm-hmm. And they actually was a group back in the day, but they were more of a folk group. So he says, I want to make a group that's going to be a smooth jazz reincarnation of that group. So he asked me, would I be the keyboard player? I said, sure. So we finished doing a project about a year and a half ago. It did very well on the charts. Mm-hmm. And one of my songs was picked up on Billboard Records on the charts, and it did really good. This radio station in Nashville heard it and really liked it. Mm-hmm. So I'm embarking on the newest project right now. And I've been writing some songs. And one of the guys that I really admired, Stevie Wonder, I wrote a song that sounds something similar to what he would write. And I found a harmonica patch on the keyboard. So I'm playing harmonica and
wow. Yeah.
Kind of recreate Stevie. So
yeah.
To get the rock down, I can't rock. I'm sure you can do that rock.
Yeah.
I fall off the piano, so I'm working on that.
Yeah. Well, brother, listen, you and I have been playing together for many, many years, right?
Yes.
The first song we wrote was in 1991.
Yes.
About my mom. That's Life.
Gospel.
Gospel song.
Yeah.
And from then on, we just kept going, man. You brought me in on this project for this film. Yeah. And we wrote Release Me.
Release Me, yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah. Dedicated to people that, have a problem with solution, with suicide and stuff like that, right? Yeah. And but some of this, you give it to the families, I had so many people ask me for that song so many times, right?
Yeah.
Along with Glory,
Yeah.
And so you've been writing social conscious music for a long time, and what's your feelings on social conscious music?
Oh yeah, it's such a healing property, especially in times like this. It was a healing property 10 years ago, 20 years ago. But can you imagine the effect that it would have now? You see all this senseless stuff, killing the children. Whoever thought we'd see a day where elementary school kids can't even go to school, and it's going to snowball. They're going to be sitting in class in fear. So, and as it relates to adults, a lot of suicide, a lot of hopelessness, homelessness. So when they hear a song that talks to what their plight is, that is healing right there. And whenever I'm writing with you or playing with you, I'm going to pull the strings out and the violins anyway. So I'm trying to touch somebody's heart. So I've actually seen people that were they was touched by what you're doing and what we're doing, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
Man, thank you so much, brother, because you've been such a big part of all the songs that we wrote in this social conscious circle. And I mean, just the kind of people we're dealing with too, right? But Amakela was an artist that we had on our show. Mm-hmm. And she's going to come in and sing Nobody Knows Their Name.
Oh, wow. Great.
Yeah, she has an outstanding voice, and she's a super humanitarian. Yeah. I mean, on the real side, you know what I mean? We've had some serious humanitarian. Diane Latiker was on our show.
Wow.
She's a serious, humanitarian. Denise was on our show like last week, I think.
Oh yeah, she was down.
Yeah. Really, really cool.
I got the gig. They called me. The piano player got sick, and they called me to play. And at the last minute, they were able to get somebody. So I almost made it playing with Denise.
Oh my God, it's just the coolest thing that we doing this thing together and been doing it for so long. And
so long, right?
I moved out of there, moved over here, and we're still going at it.
Wonderful. You're a great writer, man.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Ryan, you got another question?
I do. So, I know that technology's changed and I know social media is big these days, but do you have any advice for any young musicians, up and comers, of just, any advice that you can give them as try to further their career in this day and age? There's got to be some like hard and fast rules, no matter the decade. You know what I mean?
Yes. I certainly would. There's so many talented young people out there, and in this age of social media, where you can make a video or play a song, you can put it on TikTok, on so many different platforms, and in a matter of seconds, millions of people are seeing you. I've had a couple of friends, very good singers, who just put something on TikTok, and now they're on major tours and stuff.
Wow.
So develop your skills in terms of the technical thing. Skyler used to tell me all the time, man, if you ever learn how to work Pro Tools and Logic, and man, you're gonna really make some money. And I procrastinated, and then I had problems with engineers coming in half drunk and smoked out. I was, oh no, let me learn this stuff.
Yeah.
I buckled down and learned it, man. It's the best thing I ever did. I make people laugh. I had a bigger studio, and I ended up closing it up, and I just took one of my bedrooms and turned it to a studio. So I can roll out the bed in my pajamas.
Yeah.
Or if you just want to get grassroots in my drawers. So learn a music program, Pro Tools, Logic, Fruity Loops. Just learn and use your gifts.
Yeah.
Great. That's great info.
I used to be on Sylvester all the time. Man, come on, man. People wish they could play like you. And now you're doing it. It's so cool, man, because I come over your house, I can just sing right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you can write it right there. And we've written so many songs together in the studio.
Yes.
It's amazing. Tom, got another question?
Yeah, I suppose it's related, really. I mean, I noticed from your details there that you're doing an instructional video series for piano and organ that's available on your website. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. Actually, they're not in circulation anymore, but people tell me all the time I need to start that back, because I have a way of teaching, because I had to teach myself. I'm a self-taught musician. So I can, when I was teaching at the music school, I would guarantee all students that you will be playing a song within 3 minutes, and it never failed. So I gave a numerical system. The thumb was 1, index 2, and so forth. And then I just call these numbers out, and 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 3. Mary had a little lamb. So in a matter of minutes, you're playing a song. So I never lied about it.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that something you're going to try and get back into? Is that something you?
Yeah. I really like teaching. I love to see people's face when they play a song that they never thought they could play, and they see how easy it is. And I just tell them, now you know the technical part. Now you just have to put the study in, the practice in. So, and the more you play, it becomes second nature. God forbid if I ever was blinded, it wouldn't be a problem at all. I'd be just like Stevie Wonder. It wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic.
I love that you have such an open mind.
Thank you.
I mean, you like all styles of music. There's some people that I can only play this.
Yes.
That's because they only study that. They're in the tunnel. You know what I mean?
That's right.
But, yeah, you're like wherever you want to go.
That's
Where do
right.
you want to go?
That's
Now, how many singers do you think you've played behind in 40 years?
Thousands. Good ones, bad ones. In my studio, everybody wants to record the good singers and the bad ones, unfortunately. So I have these neighbors, and they say, "Oh, you had a good one today." And then you had a bad one.
Yeah. You struggle
That's
a
the
little
critic.
bit.
That's the
Yeah,
critics.
waterboarded, scratching your fingers on the chalkboard,
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to help each one of them find their dream. I work with them, try to help them with staying on pitch and things like that.
It's so wonderful working with some of the singers that you have. I mean, that you pull in that on sessions that we doing. You know what I mean? Yeah. I survived. Sylvester wrote this music, and they said, check out some lyrics on there, and I wrote the lyrics to it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the craziest thing, man, it was my wife died from cancer, so I wanted to write something about cancer survivors, but I didn't want the lyrical content to be like sad, right? Mm-hmm. So I went to a different place, like, I survived this.
Right.
There's two things that happens when you get diagnosed. Either you give up or you fight.
Absolutely.
Right. So I wrote a fight song with Sylvester's music, right? The cool thing is, like, we had tried a couple of singer friends of ours, but they didn't put their heart into it. Right. Like, just give me money. That's good, right? Right. Oh, I want you to put your heart in if you're going to do it. You got to turn into an actress or an actor, for 5 minutes. So Sylvester had this one singer, Sharon, and he said, Skyler, when she sings, man, people just get up and start clapping. You know what I mean? I said, well, bring her on to the studio, right? Yeah. And this is a true story. And so the next thing you know, I meet this woman named Western, and she's a promoter, a concert promoter, and she got rectum cancer. And I'm saying, oh, I'm sorry to hear that, And then Sylvester said, we're going to the studio on this day. And I thought to myself, what if I take Western over to meet Sharon? So she comes to the studio. This is a true story. She comes to the studio. I meet her for the first time. It's Sylvester's friend, right? And she's getting ready to go sing the song. So she goes behind the glass window, and I set Western right here so she could look right at her. Mm-hmm. And Sharon started looking over at this woman that had cancer. Mm. And we got the performance that we wanted. It had emotion to it, right? Mm-hmm. So at the end of the session, now she goes, oh, guys, I just looked at my watch. I got to go. I go where? I got to go to work. It's way in Fairfield. That's Fairfield, about 60 miles, right? Right. From where we were. And I said, well, what do you do? And she goes, I'm a prison guard.
Oh, wow.
And I got to hold the gun in the tower tonight. They locked me in. Huh. Right? I got a microwave and a bathroom, right? Stuff like that. And I said, wait a minute, hold on. You going to take them pumps off and put some tennis shoes on with a gun? And you sing like that?
And beautiful, too.
Oh, my God. Yeah, easy on the eyes, But the next thing you know, man, so Western, the woman with cancer survivor, she goes, I'm going to try to help you guys out. I'm going to try to get you on some American Cancer Society events. Yeah. And sure enough, 1 month later, she called.
Yes, she did.
And Sylvester and I start taking Sharon around to these events to sing this song. And she sang in Golden Gate Park, which is huge, right?
That's right.
And I mean, the American Cancer Society was using our song. Mm-hmm. And it all come from an idea, right? So you just never know. The follow through is everything, right?
That's right. Absolutely.
And you saw it for yourself, Sylvester. Tell them.
Yeah, it was so heartwarming. Every time it was sung, the people could resonate with the lyrics, with what they were going through, and the objective of the song was so positive. Persevere, keep going, don't give up. That's right. Live your life. Live and love. So that was so rewarding, because that's what I'm all about. I love everybody. I don't care what color you are, what way of life that you are, and that's where you have to be, man. Because there was an old song said that what the world needs now is love, sweet love.
That's right.
That's what we need, and then we'd be killing.
Yeah, spread that like all over the place, right?
Yes.
My brother, Ryan, you got another question before we go? And
I just had a quick question, just because, obviously I'm the son of Skyler Jett. Unfortunately, he didn't grace me with any musical gifts that I know of.
But you're like a matinee star, man. You got the.
I'm trying, but correct me if I might have read this wrong. But your son is in the music business too, right? He's a rapper. Right?
Yeah. He's actually my stepson, but
okay.
I was very influential in his life musically, and he's just like my son. But we all lived together, and he loved the fact that I had a studio and instruments and stuff. So he started kind of singing with some local groups, and one group started getting a little airplay. And for whatever reason, which is historical, one singer kind of falls out, and they say, okay, well, I'll do my own thing. And that's what he did. So he put this one song out with the most funniest title. It was called Who Booty. And I mean, you can make a hit out of anything these days.
Yeah.
And so they started playing it in the clubs in the Bay Area, and then it matriculated to Los Angeles, and then all of a sudden all over the country. Then he got a call from L.A. and Babyface, L.A. Reid, as we know, big time producers in L.A.
Yeah.
Called him in, and they said they want to have a meeting with him. And they said, we've been hearing this song, and it's hot, and we want to talk to you about it. Needless to say, he signed with Epic Records through L.A. Reid, and he had millions of hits for that song. And the song, he went gold, traveled the world, had these humongous royalty checks coming to our mailbox that I want to forge my name on. And he became worldwide. He went around the world maybe 3 or 4 times, and he's still doing music. So he moved to Hollywood, and that's where he's at.
I love it.
That's awesome. Yeah, keep it in the family. That was a great song. I remember that song.
Oh, you remember that song? Wow.
In the club, who booty is it? Yeah, it's social. I mean, it's my kind of social conscious. Who booty is it? I remember that. That was the thing. And he's worked. I mean, I remember he's worked with some big, huge artists out of even Bay Area, right?
For Beyonce at the Levi 49er Stadium. Yeah.
I love it, man.
Tom,
you got that?
I love it in the family. In the family, I love it.
Keep it in there. But the only other thing I wanted to mention, obviously we have touched on it, is I mean, you always had kind of an ear for music? You mentioned already you're not trained as far as classically trained pianist, that kind of thing. It's all something you've kind of just been able to do. Is that just something that happened from you as a child, or how is it that are you pitch perfect? How has that come about for you?
Yeah, it goes in conjunction with having a really good ear. I hear melodies, and then once I hear the melody, I hear the other adjoining notes to go with it.
Yeah.
And then if I sit with a song and let it just get into my heart and soul and spirit, then I want to go out and play it. And sometimes I'll use my own version, and people will say, well, it's a little bit different, but I like what's happening with it. So I just really get into music. Music has become a part of you. And that's how I used to be notorious back in the day when I was a playboy. A little short playboy.
There you go.
I would go to restaurants with these beautiful ladies, and I would make sure there was a piano. That way I could serenade them. When I come in with a different one, the waiters would give me the sign, okay, another, So I was dastardly. How about that word?
Oh, yeah.
But now I got a beautiful wife, and no more of that. I'm
It's called strategic. It's called strategic.
There you go. He should be an attorney, man. He should be an attorney.
It's like I can read the menu. I just can't order.
Come on. There you go.
So, Sylvester, I love you so much, brother. Thank you
brother,
for the privilege of your time to come on our show today, and bless you for your endorsement on Music for Global Change, which is a lot of your music involved, So it's just really wonderful, man. So from me and Tom and And Ryan, we want to thank you for your time, brother.
Thanks for coming on.
My pleasure. My
Thank you
privilege.
so much.
Much love and namaste. God
Peace.
bless. Okay, brother. Peace.
Take care.
Peace and hair grease.
Music can save the world. Music can save the world. If we all get together, music can save the world. Yeah. Music can save the world. Music can save the world. If we all come together, music can save the world. There's an urgency facing our humanity.
Thank you so much for watching. To stay up to date, please click subscribe and hit the bell. You can also join our group on Facebook and find us on LinkedIn and Instagram.